Hey, it's Baz and Dan here, Barry Upton from England, Daniel Gold from Australia. Now, we have a few cultural differences, and one of them is this thing here. It's called Vegemite, which I have never ever, this is the first time I've even touched a jar of it. So tell us all about it, Dan.
Well, first of all, you should be very privileged to be having a taste of Vegemite today, because it is unarguably one of Australia's most iconic dishes, I would say.
Because Australia hasn't given us much, has it? Kylie, AC/DC.
And Vegemite, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Vegemite is unarguably a staple in every Australian household. They believe 9 out of 10 Australian houses have got a jar of Vegemite inside their pantry.
Well, who thought it up? Where did it come from?
Quite an interesting background to Vegemite. The year was 1922, where a Cyril McAllister was in charge of creating new products for craft foods in Australia.
Okay.
And he heard about this product over in the UK called, dare I say, Marmite.
You love it or hate it?
Well, Marmite, unfortunately, is a bit of a swear word to us Australians. He was looking at Marmite and he said, well, okay, the England's going crazy over Marmite. We need to come up with a product that's not only as good as Marmite, but better.
Right.
And he did. And through his search and research, he found that there was quite a large amount of waste being produced by Carlton United Brewery, who is, of course, famous for many, many Australian beers. And the waste product was actually this clear sludge that was located on the bottom of the a clear sludge that was located on the bottom of the fermentation tanks. He got this product and started to test things out with it. He was adding different things to it and different items to see if he could come up with something similar to Marmite. After a little bit of trial and tribulation, he did add some onion salt, some normal salt, and also some celery salt to the product, mixed it all up to create this beautiful, sticky, gooey, and extremely tasty product called Vegemite.
I noticed it says B vitamins for vitality.
Absolutely. Vegemite has got the most vitamin B than any other product on the market.
Really?
Yes. There used to be a great theme song, or a great song. I remember watching it on TV when growing up. And it went, we're happy little Vegemites, as bright can be. I always have my Vegemite for breakfast, lunch and tea. However, here's a copy of it now. I think it's easier if we play this.
Yeah, let's watch it.
The delicious spread provides the vitamin B1 your family needs daily. Be sure you put Vegemite next to the pepper and salt whenever you set the table.
Well, that looks like it was done like in the 50s or something.
Was actually released in 1939.
39?
1939. Wow. That was actually released. But the history behind Vegemite goes a lot further than just the spread itself. Did you know, Barry, that Vegemite was actually the first product ever to be electronically scanned at a supermarket in Australia?
I didn't know that. There's a fact.
There's a fact. And also, back in 1997, the Victorian prison system in Melbourne had to actually ban supplying Vegemite to inmates because they worked out a way how to turn our classic humble Vegemite into alcoholic beverages. So they actually had to stop it. And also from in World War II, Vegemite was included in all army rations that for all our diggers and soldiers throughout Australia.
For extra vitamins.
For the extra vitamins.
And why is it not really spread? See what I did there? Why is it not spread out to the rest of the world? Why is it just Australia that has Vegemite? Okay.
Vegemite, well, being iconically Australian, we like to hold on to things, not like Kylie Minogue and Russell Crowe, who we do like to...
Or Rolf Harris.
Or Rolf Harris, but we won't talk about that.
Not to mention Rolf Harris, no.
Yes. Australia is proud to hold on to its Vegemite. Actually, back in 2007, we lost Vegemite to a massive American company. The huge outcry that us Australians put out because of this forced Vegemite only 8 months later to buy the company back. So now it's proudly back in craft Australian hands. But, you know, Vegemite is such an iconic dish. Every child loves their Vegemite. No matter how old, you see babies only months old licking Vegemite off their bread.
What about that band that sang "I Come From a Land Down Under"? They actually used Vegemite as a line.
Men at Work, yes.
Maybe a Vegemite sandwich.
That's right, the 1987 hit song, which is actually our unofficial Australian anthem.
Oh, is it really?
Absolutely. Men at Work did release a song and mentioned gave me a Vegemite sandwich in the song. Yes.
Now you can have it as a sandwich, but today we're going to try it on toast.
Barry, look, Vegemite can be eaten in many different ways. Many people have it on toast. They have it in sandwiches. People have known to put it on celery and tomatoes and eat it like this. But traditionally, Australians love their Vegemite on toast with some butter. But it's not as easy as just putting it on toast. I must stress this, Barry, because there's a knack. It's a knack that can only be done by Australian people.
Okay, right. Well, you're going to serve it up, right? And I'm going to taste it. I've never, ever tried it in my life before. So
that surprises me. A man who has travelled like you has never tried Vegemite. However, you know...
I've had a #1 hit in Australia, but I've never been there. So that's why I've never tried it.
I'm sure Steps have tried Vegemite before, I'm sure. Actually, one of the first things that many international politicians and celebrities do when they come to Australia is they all have to try Vegemite. I remember when President Barack Obama came to Australia and he was doing a big breakfast television conference, and it was actually live on TV, and one of the television reporters said, "Have you actually tried Vegemite?" And they made him try it live on TV, just like what we're doing today. And let's say it didn't go very well. He likened it to eating salty vegetables which have been mashed beyond belief.
Okay. Well, you're soon going to find out what I think of it.
Now, spreading Vegemite is an art,
You've
Barry.
got to put the butter on first, yeah?
Absolutely, you do have to put the butter on first. Vegemite, there's an art to spreading a good serving of Vegemite on toast. You can't have it too thick. I've seen many videos and many YouTube videos which have been putting Vegemite on way too thick. And if you serve an Australian Vegemite which is far too thick, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. They're not going to eat it. First, we start with a nice soft butter or margarine, whatever your choice is. Now, when it comes to Vegemite, Barry, to me that smells like absolute heaven. Have a smell of that.
It smells a bit marmitey.
Well, listen, of course an Englishman
It
is
doesn't
going
smell as bad as I was expecting, actually.
No, and let me tell you, it's quite funny. Many people who do look at Vegemite first time think it's like a chocolate or a caramel sauce. There was a classic... There's many classic times where people have sent this to someone and they automatically think it's like a chocolate and they put their fork or spoon straight into it, lick it off, and get one hell of a big surprise.
Okay. How much should you put on at any one particular time?
Look, Vegemite is very salty. There's nothing sweet about Vegemite at all. To me, you want a nice, even spread of Vegemite across the bread. To me, you want a nice, even amount of Vegemite spread evenly across the toast. If you have any piles like this, no, that's not good. That's not good. That creates a bit of a sensation you do not want to try.
Bit of an overload.
Bit of an overload,
right.
And it will send your taste buds quite berserk, I should say.
Yeah.
We might cut this in half for you, Barry, to try this one. This is the stuff that has built Australians as tough as the way they are today. Vegemite on toast, nothing like it. Barry, now this is your first time. I want you to savour the flavour. At first, you're going to experience a salt sensation.
Right.
After that, it changes slightly, and as
Yeah.
you chew in, it gets tastier and tastier and tastier. So now is your time, after all these years, Barry,
Yep.
to finally
Here we go.
try Vegemite.
So we could do a countdown?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Not bad.
So what's your initial thoughts or flavour thoughts on this?
It's kind of like Marmite. It's a very similar thing to Marmite.
You Poms always have to bring up Marmite.
No,
Look,
I'm
okay,
just
I
saying,
agree. I agree.
If I'm going to liken it to something, it's Marmite.
Look, I can't. As an Australian guy, I can't sit here watching you eat Vegemite on toast without having some. I've got some here.
By all means, join in. It's actually not as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting something really where it was going to have a very strong taste, or is it just the fact that you've only done it lightly?
It's the art.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Barry, this is something you cannot learn. You cannot learn, being an Englishman.
It's in your blood.
It's in my DNA. It's not in my blood. It's in my DNA. How to spread Vegemite. Now, the last thing you want to do now to change the flavour of Vegemite completely. What we're going to do, I'm going to let you finish that while I get this new piece ready. Okay.
Okay.
Now this could be a bit of torture. I don't know, but let's do it anyway. Now you saw how thin I spread that Vegemite there. What we're going to do, we're going to notch it up a little bit, Barry. We're going to get a nice heap, maybe a little bit more. Oh dear.
This is great bread, by the way, isn't it?
This bread is fantastic. Barry, what I've done here is something that I'm sure many people who are watching this right now are screaming no at the television set, because this is definitely un-Australian, uncouth, and not cool.
Are you overloading it now?
I'm now overloading this because I want to give
So-
you the differences, why I'm so pedantic on the way you actually spread Vegemite, because
The thing is, you see, last night I was having a Michelin star dinner. So this is going from the sublime to the ridiculous, isn't it, really?
Oh, absolutely. But I tell you what, many Michelin star chefs would be dying to have a bit of Vegemite on their toast right
really?
now. Absolutely, Barry.
All right, here we go.
This is a no-no bit of Vegemite. This is where,
Okay, let's do a nice close-up shot of this.
if you presented that to an Australian person, at that point in time, they would be sweating.
Really?
Absolutely, because it's far too thick.
Yeah.
You're going to find it a bit salty. It's going to take away the bread consistency. And it could actually make you cry, I'm not sure, but let's see how we go.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? I've got to be honest, it's not bad.
Okay. You're a very tough man. Barry Upton is a very, very tough man. I think we're going to take this to the next level. He's enjoying the slightly thicker spread of Vegemite. So let's take it up to, let's pretend for 1 minute our Vegemite is Nutella. Okay, so what we're going to do now, this is where my fellow Aussies be watching this video clip going, Dan, don't do it, don't do it. We're going to get a nice heap of Vegemite, just
oh my
like
God,
this.
look at that.
Just like this.
It's bearable. I can feel the taste coming through a lot more.
Yep.
And I think I can understand why. It's a bit like jam and marmalade. You don't want to spread them too thick.
No, but a jam and marmalade, you're quite happy to eat if it's thick. This one here can be a bit, I wouldn't say the word toxic, but extremely strong and powerful.
It's got an aftertaste.
Absolutely it does. What's really interesting, Barry, is that back in 1928, they actually thought, oh, maybe the name Vegemite isn't quite right. So they changed the name to Parwill. Why Parwill? Well, Marmite, but Parwill. But unfortunately, the name didn't really work, and only 2 years after that, they did change the name back to what we know today as Vegemite. Did you know, let me tell you this, did you know not only is Vegemite kosher, it's halal and also vegan.
Really?
It's one of the only products out there which actually covers all three things, being a man-made product.
Okay, right. In conclusion, I would say not as bad as I was expecting. Probably not my first choice.
Okay. So I'll ask you this question.
But then I am English.
You're English. Vegemite or Marmite?
Well, I like Marmite, although again, I don't really go for that a great deal. But I do like Bovril, which is like an offshoot of Marmite.
Yeah. Actually,
And at football matches on a cold day, Bovril is a fantastic drink.
oh, absolutely. Is that like a Bonox?
Can you turn this into a drink?
Look, I believe some
Have you
people
tried?
have. I haven't personally tried, but I believe some people have done this. They call it a Vegemite Shake, where they actually mix it in with some hot water.
A Vegemite cocktail.
This could be another video, Barry, a Vegemite
Absolutely.
cocktail.
There you go.